The mix this week offensively, and for him to produce the way that he did.
It's a pretty easy question, isn't it? Happy for him. Had a pretty good preseason, then got hurt. And then we started to get him a little bit involved, then got hurt again. And so it was fun to see. The guys were excited for him. He's a great kid, works hard, and you can see that by our guys, how excited they were for him.
We knew about his speed, but his ability to be physical and get guys off them. Was any of that at all surprising in the game, or
Yes.
when did you notice that of him?
No. What happened in the preseason a lot is there were some plays that he showed some lateral quickness and get to the edge, but you really didn't see him play behind his pads like he did in the game. Thought he did a great job playing behind his pads, showed good vision. There were runs that should have been 4 or 5, he got 7 or 8, and runs that would have been 7 and 8, he got 9 or 10, besides the one that showed his speed. But thought he did a great job playing behind his pads.
So I think what everybody wants to know is what's that mean for him going forward in the running back rotation? You got a lot of good running backs.
I don't know. Still early in the week. We'll see. Games go different ways, but obviously, how do you want to say it? I think like with any player, when you get your opportunity, you take advantage of it, and that leads to more opportunities. I think that's the simplest way to put in anything in life. If you're given an opportunity and you're successful at it, you're going to get more opportunities. And you deserve it. You earned that. He's earned that.
What's going so well in the run game right now? Number one in the league. Obviously, you brought your schemes in, kind of blended it with what the Ravens were doing well here before. What do you feel like is going so well that's led you to this point?
Well, first off, our coaches do a great job of scheming the run each week, trying to tie it into what we want to do in all areas of the game plan. Obviously, Keaton having a 40 and 60-yard run helps that. You're not counting on that. That's difficult to account for in any given week. Lamar adds to that. You're in an interesting position to where you have a quarterback that each week may account for 50 to 60 yards. Some planned runs, some scrambles that lead to that. So you're going to get some of that. But as I always say, you can't control the game if you can't run the football. So we've got good backs. We're physical up front. I think we're pretty versatile in the type of run game that we have, and Lamar is certainly a big part of that. And the backs have been a big part of that, along with the O-line. And the coaches have done a great job. I know I mentioned that earlier, came full circle, but they've done a great job of scheming that up.
How important is that versatility of having maybe a bigger back like Gus who can be physical and then kind of a speed guy like Keaton? How important can that be?
Sure, I think when you have, for instance, when you have 3 running backs that are up on game day, it is nice to have players with different skill sets that you can utilize. Sure, would you like 3 backs that are short yardage back, receiving back, that didn't do it all? Sure, but at least, from Gus's standpoint, obviously from a power standpoint, and he showed speed, able to break tackles, and then having some other guys can do some other things, I think is helpful in terms of when you're game planning. Certain matchups, certain parts of the field, certain situations, as we all know.
Mark Andrews has continued in your offense to do basically what he did before in terms of production. How has he had to evolve, though, and change maybe to what you wanted him to do, or is he just said, you did 89, you be you?
Oh, I don't think he's changed much. I don't think it's just sometimes he has a way of the ball finding him, just has. I think you guys asked before, because it's what's the deal with Odell, and I said before, and I'm not bringing Odell into this, I'm just saying that the history that they have together leads to that. To me, in the passing game, the ball finds players that the quarterback has trust in. When Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets, there were certain guys he wanted with him. There's certain guys that quarterbacks, when they get to a certain part in their career, they have trust and skill guys around them, and you can see that. That's been built over time.
Lamar saw a lot of man coverage last time you guys played him in week 4. I guess what is having that kind of baseline of expectations do for him going into this one?
Some of that was we saw a decent amount of man, and then it got even more of that as we were up in the game. So, and we've seen a decent amount of man. So I don't know what it really does to him, other than it for us from a game planning standpoint. Like any game we go into, we have to have, a plan where Lamar feels comfortable where to go with the football, no matter whether they're playing man, zone, types of man. that are good versus all. And I think that's the part of it, is having enough skill guys that make it difficult to play man. The more guys you can have that can win, the better job you do of uncovering those guys, the more fun it is. The fewer guys you have of that, and the worse job you do of uncovering them, then you get covered and you're holding on to the ball and you hope he runs around and makes play. And that's what we're trying to avoid, obviously.
Obviously, you played quarterback back in the day. It's a different.
There we go. Did you look back to Knox College Division 16 football? Did you go all the way back to that?
Find any highlights on YouTube.
I appreciate that.
No, but just to see the kind of throws that guys like Mahomes, Lamar are making, arm angles, sidearm.
Just cranking that bad boy up.
What is, I guess, what do you kind of make of the evolution of the sports since you played?
It is so cool, that the game has evolved from what would have been considered years ago quarterbacks. Well, the offenses have changed, right? So there was pocket passers. You were either a running quarterback or you were a throwing quarterback, right? You were one or the other. More, I wouldn't say statue is probably a strong word, but more of a pocket passer. Where now you've gotten to the point where you've got really athletic guys with arm talent and size and really understand the passing game. And the game has changed forever in a good way. To me, it's more fun to watch. I mean, it's hard to consistently hang in the pocket and distribute the ball unless you're really elite on the outside. I mean, you need the ability to extend plays and allow guys to uncover. That's really the number one pass play we've had every year that I've been in coaching when you have quarterbacks like Lamar is scramble. There's not one other pass play that we're going to call, not curl flat, not four verticals, going to be scramble. So we've got to continue to be elite at our scramble rules, because when you have athletic quarterbacks, when you see them making plays off schedule, all the guys you mentioned, the guys that are elite, you talk about the Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar, like those off-schedule plays are hard to defend. They're two-play quarterbacks. And I might have gone off in a different direction, not even answered your question about Knox College and, back in the day.
Was that, you maybe were discouraged from even attempting just with his kind of elasticity and being able to throw?
What's that again?
Like, is he attempting throws that, maybe you were discouraged from attempting just with the kind of elasticity that he has? And
You talking about Lamar?
Yeah.
Or
His
anybody? Just
arm angle.
his arm angles?
is what he's
Oh,
talking
it's
about.
impressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You're not going to see those old YouTube videos and see old, those arm angles with me. I didn't even know those existed. That's awesome. I mean, it's he's got a unique ability to, still be accurate with multiple arm angles, which you're seeing with a lot of these quarterbacks. You're seeing the ability with arm angles. Some of it comes from guys that, in my opinion, played baseball, like Mahomes. Like if you're a middle infielder, you're used to turning a double play and your arm angles still being accurate. That's my opinion. Maybe not everybody's opinion, but I do think that he has a unique ability with the athletic quarterbacks. And the other thing is, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you didn't have nearly as many quarterback coaches. And I'm not talking about in the building, I'm talking about outside, that train young kids at an earlier age. And because of their athleticism, they're working a lot more off-scheduled throws. Like you just watch these on YouTube, and they're all over the place, moving and arm angles and being off platform, because you're just seeing more of it, and they're just more ready and available to play because it doesn't have to be perfect. It used to be everything was training, being in the pocket. Now that's just evolved in a lot of ways, and you just see it with players across the country from college to the NFL.
You said before how game day is stressful for yourself. What's 2 and 5 days time like?
What is what?
What is 2 games in 5 days time like for next week?
Oh, it's actually better. There's less time in between. I wish we played every day. I mean, right? Like baseball is like you go for 4, you get to go play the next day, and you get to get it out of your system, right? Now the good news is when you play well, it's actually nice. You have a week, right? You're like, okay, feel pretty good. Actually, there's not as much stress. Play like just the way it is. So do I prefer to play the next day? Of course. The fun's in playing. It's getting out there and going and seeing what you do. So to me, it is what it is. Luckily, we played them before. They played us before. It's, get ready to go. And first of all, take care of the first one. That's the most important, is what we do this weekend, how we prepare for this team, and then take care of the Bengals when that comes after we play Sunday.
Challenges in preparing game planning for Myles Garrett, just not just that he's a great player, but he's such an athletic freak. He can do so many different things, line up different places.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that
Yeah,
like?
it's awful. Yeah, it's absolutely stinks. He's just he's got such natural ability, and he's worked awfully hard to, really drill down, his pass rush moves, and he's relentless, and you have to account wherever he's at, which is any elite player. Could be a receiver, quarterbacks that can move, pass rushers that make it difficult. It makes it difficult in terms of everything that you do, because he can wreck the game. He can wreck the game. He made it hell on Indy. There was a couple plays that really changed that game. So again, and he's a tremendous young man. He's a hard worker, great kid, but it stinks. I mean, you'd prefer he's out.